Tim Pool has a very successful YouTube channel. He's been doing this for a long time. He covers a lot of stories. I've subscribed to his channel because he covers a lot of social and political issues around the country and even overseas that I'm interested in. So he's one of my news sources. That being said, overall a fan, but there's something he did that I completely disagree with. He released a video saying, remember that story of women attacked on a bus in London? Yep, fake news. And so when I saw this, and I see the women, and the women are bloodied up from this incident, and I'll rehash exactly what that story was that happened. I thought, oh, this was a hoax. This is fake news. The women punched each other, or it's fake blood, or somehow set up these teenagers for something they didn't do. And when you look at the comments of this video, you see all this hatred going to these towards these young women. Well, as it turns out, this is not fake news. These women, and this is the story, again, for those who may not be familiar with it. In London, two women, gay couple, get on one of those double-decker buses. They go up to the top level. It's just them. They're not bothering anybody, just having a good time. Four teenagers, in a video I counted four, come up and start aggressively harassing these two women, apparently threatening them, wanting them to kiss and threatening them if they don't, making obnoxious gestures of lesbians in bed, that sort of thing, and according to BBC, pelted them with coins, okay, threw coins at these two women. So why would Tim Pool say that this was fake news? Well, a recent released video shows after the harassment, the woman, and here's a picture of the two women. So recently released video surveillance shows that the woman with the lighter hair gets up, goes to one of these teenagers, and punches them in the face. And that wasn't covered in the original stories. And so now Tim Pool is saying, well, that's a huge piece of information that she got up. And he's kind of positioning it where, okay, so she's the one that started this physical confrontation, and that wasn't brought up in the original story, he thinks, to kind of cover up what happened and put all the blame on the teenage boys. And so therefore it's fake news. But here's the thing. Her getting up and punching this kid in the face was not the beginning of the physical violence. The physical violence began when they started pelting them with coins, when they started throwing things at them. When you look at the definition of assault and battery, and obviously the laws are going to be different or slightly different in the United States compared to the UK, but when you look at assault and battery, it's unwanted physical contact through anger or through being rude, including throwing things, not just water. Now, Tim kind tries to downplay this, and he uses the term toss, like, oh, well, you can't say that you had justification to go up and punch somebody in the face if they just tossed a coin at you. You know, like they're just going like this. Well, the BBC says pelted, and I would say if somebody came up to somebody and whipped a coin in their face, you wouldn't be saying, oh, they just tossed a coin and that wasn't assault and battery. Well, obviously it was. So it was these young men that started the physical assault. As soon as they threw that coin, they're the ones that started it. Now, did she escalate the violence? Of course, but she didn't start the violence. And it is pretty crazy what she did, because going up to one of these when there's four of them, obviously that's a dangerous situation. But, you know, for the people attacking these two women, again, they're on the bus, not bothering anybody. And then four teenagers come on and just aggressively, verbally, and physically assault them with throwing things. Now, this woman, the lighter-haired girl that punched the guy didn't have any fighting training. So, you know, kind of a stiff body punch. When the guy punched her back, it's not that he was much bigger than her, but you can see he's using more of the shoulder and obviously got a bigger connection. So her punch, I don't think, did much. Something else that Tim Pool said that I disagree with is if they're in a court, the justification for punching the face. Oh, once again, using the term tossing a coin, and did you feel your life was in danger? Well, that's not the definition of assault and battery. You don't have to feel like your life is in danger. And certainly there's a lot of incidents of assault and battery that don't put somebody's life in danger. If you go up and smack somebody in the head, that doesn't put their life in danger. If you grab their hand and break one of their fingers, that doesn't threaten their life, but certainly it's assault and battery. So disagree with him on that. And the comments just I found sad. All the anger and hatred against these women, once again, I think brought on by this headline, which I don't believe is something that Tim should have done, saying it was fake news, like these women set everything up. Now, why wasn't this covered in the original story? And this incident happened in May, but this video footage that shows the punch just happened at the end of November this year. So the journalists that didn't cover it back then, now did they purposely not cover it just to put all the blame on these teenagers, or did they just not know? Did they not see that footage, which once again was recently released? Now, if indeed they knew about it and they covered it up, it's not something they should have done, but it's still not fake news because these women were absolutely verbally and physically assaulted. And after the guy punches the lighter-haired girl, one of the teenagers grabs the purse because the dark-haired girl went after him, left the bench, grabs the purse, goes down the stairs. The two girls try to stop them. The dark-haired girl's in front, and then she gets punched in the face when she didn't punch anybody. She didn't do anything, and she gets punched in the face to stop her from being able to chase after him, and that punch stopped her dead in her tracks, and then they run off, but obviously were captured later. So to say that the lighter-haired girl punching the face was the reason for the dark-haired girl to get punched in the face, absolutely not. So these young men have what's coming to them. This was not fake news. If the journalist in May, when they reported on the story, knew about the woman punching the guy in the face, should they reported it? Absolutely. But that was not the beginning of the physical confrontation. The beginning of the physical confrontation was when they threw a coin at her. And once again, Tim is saying toss, but pelted, whipped, thrown, whatever is probably more what happened. And looking at the comments, for me, it's sad to see so much hatred directed against these young women who once again did not start this. And for me, I guess maybe it's part of my generation, but I grew up with Westerns. So for me, strong male role models were like James Arnaz playing Marshal Matt Dillon on Gunsmoke, or Chuck Connors on playing the father of the rifleman, or of course, James T. Kirk, captain of the Starship Enterprise. And that's my role model. And so that's a part of being a man, big part of being a man. Males are the stronger physical sex, and as such have a responsibility to protect the physically weaker sex, which is woman. The good guys are out to help people and protect people. The bad guys are out to harm people. In this situation, obviously, it's the teenagers that were out to do harm. So from my perspective, the good guy, when he sees people being harassed like that, steps in and shuts that crap down right away. So that's my worldview. And to see people just saying, oh yeah, it was completely the woman's fault and they're all to blame, that just makes me feel like, what kind of world am I living in? What's going on? Now, some of the comments were people who, think like I do, but it was definitely in the minority. And then in the comments, I see this come up, and I've seen this before. Oh, these were just kids being stupid. I saw this before in a community I was living in, where a group of teenagers went out around vandalizing public property, vandalizing the property of small businesses, breaking into cars and occasionally harassing people. On the neighborhood watch people are angry, they're concerned, and then out of the woodwork, oh, they're just kids being stupid. This just blows my mind. Now, when I was a kid, I was stupid, just about everybody was. To equate being a stupid kid to somebody who verbally and physically harasses women, what is the matter with you people? Seriously, I would never do something like that. That's not in a million years would I ever do something like that, even think about doing something like that. Like I said, my mindset is the opposite. You protect people from being attacked in that way. You don't participate in actually doing that kind of thing. And even as a teenager, my mind was already set in that path. So, and these people, I just wonder, do they not have the capacity of empathy, putting themselves in other people's positions? So imagine yourself going on a bus, whether you're gay or not, you're just going on a bus with your partner, with your wife, your girlfriend, whatever. You're in London, go on the top deck, it's just you two, you're having a good time, and four teenagers come up and start aggressively, verbally harassing you and throwing things at you. How are you going to feel in that moment? What are you going to do in that moment? I mean, once again, not the girl's fault. This was not a good headline for Tim to put on there. Now, if he's obviously just upset about this piece of missing, well, story of women attacked on bus in London. Here's the rest of the news. What you weren't told, something like that. But to say it was fake news and then get this response of hatred against these two young women, he's better than that. This is not something he should have done. It was irresponsible. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. Let me know what you think. This is Jim Wall. Thanks for watching. Until next time, and if the Cisco Kid was alive today, I believe 100% he'd agree with me, and Pancho would too.
Cisco, do we have to leave all our good friends now?
Only until next time, Pancho. Adios, amigos.